Before we get started, we are all going to spoil every movie we talk about. So if you're listening, just know that. And I don't mean just the plot. We're also going to spoil your nostalgia good feelings for it. Welcome to another episode of Dude, You Haven't Seen That? Our movie discussion podcast. Today we're going to talk about the movie The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
I have not seen The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
I had never seen The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Dude, you haven't seen The Killing of a Sacred Deer? All right, well, everyone sit down. We're going to gather around and watch it. If you guys want to follow along, if listeners, it's available on Netflix, but I happen to have a VHS copy, so we're all going to sit in the same room and watch it, okay?
That was the soundtrack of The Sacred Deer.
We just watched The Killing of a Sacred Deer. It was on Netflix, but I had a VHS copy. I recorded it on VHS from Netflix so we could all watch it together.
That was an interesting film. I don't know what to think about it. It was 2 hours long. It felt like 2 hours long. It was kind of long.
The Killing of a Sacred Deer came out in 2017. It is rated R. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian.
The movie had quite an impact. What do you think is the water resistance on this movie?
I think it's at least 50 meters.
That's good.
The more important question is, what kind of watches are you guys wearing, and what is the water resistance on them?
I am wearing a Ninja Turtle Seikyo. It has a leather band.
I don't wear a watch, so technically the water resistance is infinite. All right. What did you guys think of that movie?
I too enjoyed that joke.
This movie was trash. Trash.
Oh my god, this movie was straight up bullshit.
The Killing of My Sacred Evening.
The soundtrack, The Killing of Your Sacred Ear.
I have a feeling the next 30 minutes is going to be The Killing of Sacred Things.
I just want to bring up, Ricardo's on the show with us today, and I feel like he was kidnapped by aliens like weeks ago, sent here to kill the sacred podcast by suggesting this movie.
Yeah, it was perfect timing.
Yeah,
perfect.
It all started because Ricardo saw the movie and recommended it. Then I watched it based on his recommendation, not knowing what I was getting into. And then after I saw it, I'm like, dude, I'm putting it on the list.
This movie, every moment was more grotesque than the last. I literally think the robot alien that programmed AI human speech / pedophilia, the script was only written each line, grotesque, grotesque, grotesque. Each scene just gets more and more gross, and in dialogue and in action.
There was so much emotion in the dialogue, though. Like when the daughter Kim was like, "He's really funny. I laughed so hard my ribs hurt." And then the dad was like, "Yes, he is very funny."
This could almost be, if you just change the soundtrack, you got a Napoleon Dynamite level comedy.
Oh my god, yes.
I thought that too. I was like, this is Napoleon Dynamite as adult.
Why were they talking like that? Like, what was the purpose of that?
That's more of the director, the filmmaker. That's his style because he does other movies like that. If you watch The Lobster, it's the same thing.
He wrote the screenplay too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what wrote the screenplay? Was a chair from IKEA because it's never comfortable.
Okay, when I watched the movie, I was like, this is ridiculous. These people sound like aliens telling people to talk how they think people should talk. And yes. I was about to give up. And then when it got to the middle of that cafeteria scene, when Martin and Steven had the conversation, I was like, oh, this movie's going to get good.
I understand.
And it didn't.
It was weird, right? That felt like it was out of the blue. So the twist is Martin is a vengeful god. for some reason. Well, let's see. Let's start at the beginning. So Steven befriends Martin out of guilt because Steven was Martin's father's doctor who ended up botching the surgery and killing his father.
He lies about that, though. They don't reveal it until like around around the point when Martin unveils his plan.
Right, but in the movie, that's the reason Martin and Steven are hanging out together so much, and they're like best friends until something happens. But right in the beginning of the movie, it's just them sharing their friendship, buying his kid watches, going to diners with him. It was like almost like kind of a creepy man and little boy relationship that was going on for a minute. I was not comfortable with their friendship.
I thought that's where the movie was going. I was like, that's the twist, is he's not a pedophile. And then it still got uncomfortable.
Yeah. And he's like, it's like there's a few things happened before the twist where he became a vengeful god, where Martin becomes this vengeful god out of nowhere. So Martin's mom tries hooking up with Steven in the worst way.
Watching Groundhog Day.
Well, if you think about it, that's a whole discussion on whether or not Bill Murray thought he was a god in that movie. That's the scene they show.
Oh my God!
That dialogue. You think I'm like, sorry? What makes me not a god? Yeah. So she's like, this now. If anyone can recall the hand description, like
how doctors have beautiful hands.
So soft, beautiful hands. They're so white. And then she proceeds to suck on them like they're popsicles.
By the way, Martin's awkward mother, played by Alicia Silverstone, if you're looking for a reason to watch the movie.
I couldn't wait to watch her suck on a thumb.
Oh, it's still uncomfortable. It's as uncomfortable as Bobby makes it sound.
It almost made me gag just thinking about it, because she deep throats those suckers. He puts the whole fist in her mouth at one point.
I think Bobby was picturing what happened after, because it was just like a thumb and then he got up, right? And then just started putting his jacket on.
Like a robot that was programmed to just get up at that moment with no explanation.
Right. But you didn't see Alicia Silverstone still sucking on his finger as he started to move across the room. Like she was hooked on his finger like a fish. She's like, wait.
Are you joking? I'm not going to watch the movie again to find out.
That was the scene. He gets up and starts to walk away. She's still on his hand.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't notice that.
Is there an extra scene where he actually tries the tart? Because I was waiting for that.
The deleted scene. Then they probably shot multiple versions. She's like, at least stay until you've tried my tart. And then he's like, okay, cut. And then the director's like, okay, we're going to try a scene where you stay to try the tart.
Now this tart she has made, it will be delicious. Now you will put it into your mouth as she has put your fingers into her mouth.
You will stay and eat the whole tart because you like the tart.
I want to interject one thing real quick. Ricardo, we hate you so much.
Oh, no. I don't hate you, Ricardo.
You son of a bitch. I hate you so much.
What do you think of this movie, Ricardo, for real?
I just I just liked it so much because it was just so different. Like the actors didn't have personalities, and the ending like, there wasn't a happy ending. It's just like left you so like, different. What the fuck?
The characters weren't likable.
Yeah,
everyone was phoning in their performance. I loved it.
Okay, so the curse is the family is going to die. First, it inflicts the son first. He can't feel his legs, and then what are the following symptoms? He can't feel
loses his appetite.
His eyes will bleed, and then he'll die.
They lost their appetite to the point of starvation.
And you're going to eat this whole box of donuts.
Oh, that was the most emotion in the whole movie when he tried to shove a donut in the...
No, the one when he's in the kitchen.
It was when he tearing the kitchen apart looking for crocodile teeth and virgin pubes.
Virgin pubes!
That was the most emotion he showed.
I loved it because his commitment to the bit was so high. He's like, oh, virgin pubes in here? Do we keep the virgin pubes here? I don't know. He's like tearing apart a whole kitchen.
That scene went on for a long time, too. You're like, oh, he's still going. Oh.
The director's note was probably like, pretend there are actual virgin pubes here that you placed somewhere, but your wife misplaced them and you're angry.
I've actually placed virgin pubes in the kitchen. It is your duty to find it.
Not go home until you find them.
Nicole Kidman or Adna Murphy is just standing there like, here we go again with the virgin pube bit.
Every time they mention the son's name, Bob, it cracked me up. Like, is that a real? They did that as a joke, right? Because like Bob, that's like giving a cat like a human name, like Steven. Get off the counter, Steven.
Bob.
Yeah, because this is actually like a real Greek story. Some Greek dude kills a deer that like belonged to a goddess, and so that goddess ends up punishing him.
Did you know that going in, or did you research after you saw the movie?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Or did you read that one guy's very pretentious movie review about it?
There's one guy.
Yeah, I was like, that was a review that me and Ellen read.
Oh, I read that review, Ricardo.
So this starts out. So the curse is everyone's going to die unless Steven kills a member of his family. Or himself? I wasn't sure about that detail. Could he kill himself?
Yeah, I didn't remember.
He's not allowed to kill himself. He has to kill one of his family members because that's the whole point.
Right.
You killed my dad. Now you have to kill one of your own family.
Wait, I'm confused. So Martin was really a god?
They don't specify if it was like some kind of supernatural power or if it was medical.
It was supernatural because there's like a few scenes in there that enforce the supernatural traits. Like if you were to kill Martin straight up, which Steven tries to do when he locks him up in his basement, if you try to kill him straight up, it ends up killing all four of them.
Oh, I thought that just meant if I die, there's no one to stop this from happening. So your other three family members will die.
Oh my God. The level of which children are crawling on their bellies in this house. It made me think like, maybe Colin Farrell's not trying hard enough. Steven's not giving his... I'm like, they get wheelchairs towards the end of the movie, but during the middle, they should at least have like done something like, I don't know, tied a skateboard to their chest or something, just so they could move around with relative ease.
What's the whole premise of Kim constantly losing MP3 players, though? Is it just to set up that dark line? When you die, can I have your new MP3 player?
I guess so.
I hope so.
Again, this is like when none of the characters are likable because even through this movie, they're like, we might all die. And I'm like, good. All of you. This is probably my third favorite movie in which children die.
Okay, wait. What are 1 and 2?
I'll reveal it on a later episode.
We better look at what he's got on his list coming down the line. The Nut Job?
I was waiting for Bobby to use the title The Nut Job to segue into the awkward story Steven tells Bob about his dad who was drunk.
When Steven sits down with Bob and says, hey, you want to know a secret? Let me tell you a doozy of a secret, which afterwards I may lose child rights to you after I tell you this secret. Your story. Can we just go down the path of the story? He's like, when I was a boy, I only came a little bit, just a drop. And then, I'm sorry, this is a little blue, but he goes on to say how he rapes his drunk father. And then he comes everywhere, and then he ran away. And this is the secret I tell my son to make sure he's not lying to me.
Yeah, he's not pretending to not be able to walk.
And Bob's reaction to this secret is as if he's heard this secret before.
It's your turn to tell a secret, Bob. Oh, I don't have one.
He's like, my dad's gonna tell me the cum story again.
He tells it like he tells his watch water resistance.
You know, it'd be funny if Bob's just started mouthing it like he knew the next one.
I like this. I don't know if it was that scene or a later scene where Steven actually has that quote. If you're lying to me, I will take my razor, I will shave your head, and I will make you eat your hair.
Yeah, that's the scene when he said, if you tell me now, you won't be punished.
Anyway, so all the kids get infected, right? and now they're like getting real shitty as a family. They're just like competing for their father's love.
They are selling each other out with Martin, trying to be the one that doesn't get killed.
Even Bob is like just like trying to like bark up his dad's tree by being like, "I'm sorry, I should have cut my hair when you asked me to."
Yeah, I cut my hair, Dad. Now shoot the daughter instead. Shoot Kim instead of me.
Even Anna was like in bed with, with Steve, being like, "I was just thinking about it. We can have more kids."
I'm still young. We can have another child.
Hey, but do you guys think that Colin's character, that he really slept with that dude's mom?
He was supposed to.
No, I don't. Yeah,
See,
I don't even think.
that's what
everyone lies in that movie. Everyone.
So, Martin had one caveat, and that was Bob. I mean, not Bob. That was Steven had to sleep with his mom. So that was like Martin's one thing. If I feel like if
would that have ended it?
I think that would have ended it because he curses the family after that.
Oh wow! I didn't even think about that.
See, like after that falls through, he's like, now the family's cursed. You didn't fuck my mom. If you just let her suck your fingers, this would have been all gone away.
If you just ate the tart.
And he just winks when he says tart. And he's like, oh my god, this fucking, I love it when this movie has so many twists. So when Steven comes up to the house and starts banging on the door, he's like, "You'll die in jail for this. You'll die in jail for this." And he's like, "I'll fuck you, and I'll fuck your mom. Is that what you want?"
That was shoving donut in mouth emotion right there that he had.
We're gagging on that line.
Was there any point where they said why they got the they couldn't move the legs?
Yeah, it was just the curse.
It's a curse, either medical or supernatural, and at this point, we're assuming it's supernatural, and Martin has superpowers for no reason.
Just so random, yeah.
It was a late reveal God moment too. It's like he didn't do anything godlike until that one moment when he's like, "I cursed your family because you wouldn't sleep with my mom. Sorry, dog."
I like that character. I thought he was cool, especially when he was tied up and he did that thing where he bit Steven's arm and then he bit the chunk of his own arm out.
Yeah, but you saw the cut from she undid her bandages and then they showed the chunk and it was like a tiny chunk and I was like, "Oh, not even that impressive."
No, the bandage was on his leg.
That was a gunshot wound.
She did the arm.
Bobby's trying to trick you. Bob is trying to trick you into watching the movie again.
Bob's dying.
I like the scene. Oh my god!
I want that to be what people yell when I'm doing bad on this podcast or on stage.
Guys, Bob is dying.
Bob is bleeding from the eyes and he's dying.
He starts bleeding from the eyes and doesn't even react. Like, no one reacts.
I think they knew by that point. They're like, "Look, this movie's weird. This is how we're gonna react." That scene outside the hospital, though, when the doctor was like, "Your kids can go home now." Colin Farrell's line was basically how I feel now. It's like, "Sorry, but if I was running this podcast, I would feel like a failure, a complete loser. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night." So thank you, Alan and Ricardo, for that.
Oh my god.
You're welcome.
This whole time, Steven was trying to make a decision that he couldn't make, right? Like, which one of my kids do I kill? Which do I kill my wife? Maybe I should talk to the principal and see which one is worse.
Which one's your favorite, if you had to choose?
I can't answer that.
If one had to die, which one would you pick to die?
If one stopped showing up to school, which one would you be happier about?
This whole decision, he left it up to his principal.
Or he tried to anyway.
That reinforces the whole idea that he won't take any personal responsibility, because remember the part where he's like, a surgeon never kills his patient, and an anesthesiologist, they could do it. but never a surgeon. Then she talks to the anesthesiologist, and he's like, it's the surgeon that kills the patient. They're the one that take responsibility. It's never my fault.
Everyone's
so
scum on this movie.
So
Yeah,
dumb.
everybody's lying scum.
And then the Matthew Williams, the Bill Camp character, was like, when Anna was trying to get the secrets of the details of the procedure out of him, of what happened to Martin's father, and he was like, sure, I can remember the details, but what's in it for me? And she was like, what you were almost going to get last night. And then she gives him a sad hand job in a parking lot. Was that on the menu last night?
And then she looks at him and says, it would be just as sad if it happened last night too.
And you know what's weird is there's like Colin Farrell, Nicole Kidman, and Alicia Silverstone. They're all in this movie, and like, didn't any of them like read the script before they got into it?
As crazy as we think this movie is, everyone thinks it's genius. We're the outcast here.
Yeah, well, I feel like even like the characters not having personality, it just adds to the uncomfortableness of the movie.
And the unlikability of all the characters.
There's even like YouTube videos of like people that have to explain this is what killing of a deer meant.
Oh,
Like,
did they talk about
is-
the Greek lore or fairy tale that Ricardo mentioned?
They try to go on to everything. They try to latch on to whatever the fuck they can, and they're like talking about this and that and everything. It's like, dude, did you even watch the fucking movie?
They watched it with their smart glasses on. That's what all the reviews read. If you go down the list and look at all the reviews, it's just people thumping their chest saying how smart they are and how much they get this movie. It's really it might be to us, we're the idiots yelling in the back of the audience, the Emperor has no clothes.
The Emperor's indie film? Is that what this is?
I was half-hearted because I was actually looking for a deer in the movie.
Like, this movie's bullshit.
Poor Tony and his literal mind. Not smart enough to grasp this high concept.
They couldn't make a decision on who to kill, right? So in the end of the movie, they do it one way they know how, is to blindfold everyone and put pillowcases on their heads, and Colin Farrell is going to spin like a death blade.
He does that awkward stumble around in a circle and just pulls the trigger blindfolded.
Oh my god, the odds of hitting someone like that and killing him is so small.
So small, especially because they're so spread out. It's like, he may have killed a deer in that scene.
The first shot was a sacred deer outside that got shot. I was like quiet and uncomfortable the whole movie, and when he put the blindfold on and started stumbling in a circle, I literally laughed out loud.
I started laughing too. It was the best. It's so good.
And I was like, how did this motherfucker not go to jail for that?
Oh, well, because right after they kill their son, they go to Denny's. They just head out for breakfast.
Who had moved over on a hammy?
I like that symbolic move where at the beginning he goes, I save my fries for last because I like fries. And then when she sees him in the diner, she eats her fries first.
Because she doesn't like him.
Oh, is that what she was doing? I didn't know.
Yeah, that's exactly what she did. Listen, little boy, you don't have the intellect to grasp this concept.
Oh, is that part of the review?
I imagine that's how that guy's review always starts. It's always a response to a guy that hates the movie. Listen, little boy.
Little boy. No, the one detail we glossed over real quick, I just want to go back to, is when the daughter, they pick her up, she tries to run away, and they pick her up off the street, and then she like does this oath of like loyalty to her father, like trying to get him to kill her, and he's like, you are my lord and I am your servant and I lay myself at your feet. And then I was like, just shoot her right now. Shoot her for this terrible dialogue. Just be like, bam,
Out here, out and open, in front of all your neighbors.
I mean, if you're shooting people for bad dialogue, he needs to spin around the city and start pulling the trigger.
Oh my god! I was hoping they would all die at the end of the movie.
Half expected the girl not to be able to walk out of to get up out of that booth. I was like, oh, no payoff. Did it all for nothing.
The reason they keep mentioning water resistance on your watch is so you keep looking at your watch and realize how slowly the time is actually going.
Oh my god!
Speaking of that, Bobby, Alan and Ricardo's water resistance is way less than your watch's, so it'll be fine when you hold them under the water.
To kill you, a sacred Alan. Oh my god, this fucking movie.
One thing to note is that Nicole Kidman, currently right now, she's 53 years old. I don't know, she's probably like 50 years old when she made the movie. I'm not sure, but yeah, she's fucking fit.
So good. Can we talk about how they fuck? So what Nicole Kidman does is like she proposes how she wants her. Okay, so she goes, general anesthesia, and he goes, yes. And then she proceeds to lay across the bed as if she's unconscious. And he goes at her. The next time Nicole Kidman does this, it's the way they initiate sex, because this when Steven's trying to make his gruesome decision on who to kill, she's like, I know, I'll seduce him. And she takes off her clothes, and then she proceeds to lie across the bed like a corpse, to which he just turns off the light.
Go to bed.
It's like, in this household, how do you know the difference between somebody that's trying to sleep and somebody that's trying to have sex?
You don't. That's why that house is so awkward.
Because she lays across upside down on the bed.
So just don't be lying upside down on the bed, because that means when the feet are up, it's down to fuck.
The daughter awkwardly does that with Martin later.
The daughter does it too. This is why I'm like, it's so creepy, and it's like pedophilic. Even like just seeing her strip down and just lay the same way as her mother does to have sex.
I didn't check IMDb for her age because I already knew.
You can count the rings on that tree with one hand.
I don't like. That's a very uncomfortable way you phrase it. I don't like that at all.
Okay, so the kid, Martin comes into the diner, and the family, minus the little kid, is there eating like breakfast or whatever. And then he goes and just sits down at the bar, and they just like ignore him.
Well, no, the daughter pays attention or sees him.
Like, maybe we could still hook up.
Yeah.
You have a wonderful body.
I was looking for that. When she would look back at him, I was looking for that attitude.
I would stop going to the diner I met my son's killer with.
You're not a member of that uncomfortable family.
I just imagine like the chef is like looking at him. He's like, "Isn't that the guy that killed his son?" And then he looks at the waitress and he goes, "What is he, sandwich crazy?"
We see Martin in there, and we're thinking, "Why is he here with our family?" But she's thinking, "My dad has 3 times as much body hair as Martin does."
Please.
Can you two compare so we can get an accurate statement? And then they both show their armpit hair.
By the way, I don't know if you guys need this advice, but as adults, when a child asks you to see your armpit hair that is not your child, don't show them.
Yeah. I mean, the dad that like just completely ignores, the kid, and they just get up and leave. Yeah. And like before that, he blamed that kid for doing whatever he did to his kids. Like when they couldn't walk and stuff like that, like whatever curse or drug or whatever.
The kid straight up says he put a curse, or that he's the reason that they're cursed.
Yeah, but after that, he just lets him go off the hook.
Martin establishes himself as a god. That's why Steven has to look at him and do nothing and walk away, because he has no real power. He can't do anything to Martin. He has to just live with his punishment.
Yeah.
Or he finally took personal responsibility for his actions. But we know that's not true.
He's got his kid buried in the backyard.
All right, now is the time in this podcast where we rate this movie. As I call each of your names, give it a 1 star or 5 stars, nothing in between. Bobby?
I rate it 1 star. I give it 200 meters of 1 star.
Brian, what do you rate this film?
I rate this film 1 star. I could have given it 5 stars, but I chose not to because it only deserves 1 star. It's not a good film. I did not enjoy it, so I give it 1 star.
Your rating is noted. Chad, what do you rate this film? 1 star or 5 stars?
1 star. I hate it. I hate it a lot.
Tony, what do you rate this film? 1 star or 5 stars?
Totally 1 star. It's fucking sucks.
Ricardo, you are a guest on this show, but we will ask you your rating.
I give it a 5. I thought it succeeded in what it wanted to do.
Oh, kill this podcast? That's what you wanted it to do?
Oh, hold on, Ricardo. Explain yourself. What did it want to do?
Well, I felt the movie just wanted to make you feel uncomfortable. So it nailed it.
All right, Alan Manning, what do you rate this film?
Okay, I have been spinning in a circle this whole time, and I will shoot 1 or 5 star rating, and whichever rating I shoot is the rating I give the film. I just shot the 5 star. I give this movie a 5 star rating.
Why would you?
If I had shot 1 star, I would have given it a 1 star rating, but I shot 5 stars, so I give this film 5 stars.
But you haven't heard. They just bought 5 stars a piano. They didn't tell you because they didn't want 1 star to be scared.
All right, dudes, you have just seen the killing of a sacred deer, and now we will select next week's movie using a random number generator and a predetermined list of movies. The number 11.
Number 11 is UHF.
UHF.
In this 1989 Weird Al Yankovic vehicle, a slacker and his friend run a local TV station like it's a YouTube channel and find themselves in a battle with a network giant. Available on Amazon.
Available on Amazon Prime. Okay, so Brian and Alan have already used their vetoes. So Chad, Bobby, and Tony, do any of you want to veto this movie?
I seen it a long time ago. I'm fine with it.
I didn't veto this last movie, so I can go through this.
You're like, I'll
Next
watch
movie.
anything. I made it through this.
I can watch anything now.
Kramer's in this movie.
Kramer's in this movie? I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's before all that. It's before all that, Bobby.
It's before all that.
So who hasn't seen it?
Oh,
Probably
I haven't
Bobby.
seen it.
We're not doing this right now.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Okay. All right, everyone shut up. I'm going to end this. Dude, you just saw that.
All right.
We're done.